Welcome back to the Morristown Market Report. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
And I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.
And today we have a very special guest with us. This is Kelley Williams, and she is with Lakeway CASA. And she is going to share with us a little bit about what this organization provides to our community. So probably the first thing is to define what is a CASA.
Sure. So CASA is an acronym for Court Appointed Special Advocate.
Okay.
And basically our volunteers advocate for the best interest of abused and neglected children that are in the court system here in Hamlin County, as well as Jefferson, Granger, and Sevier counties.
Okay. So how do they do that? How does a CASA help these children? What's their job?
They initially, we are privileged to all the case information by state law of Tennessee. The judge actually appoints us, so we are officers of the court. We thoroughly research the case, get to know what's involved. We interview all parties involved, teachers, therapists, family members, and I think most importantly, we spend time getting to know the child. Each of our CASA volunteers visit with that child at least once every 30 days, and oftentimes more. There's phone calls, texts, so forth in between, so that we become the expert on that child. Typically, our CASA volunteers only take that one or maybe two cases, so they can focus all their energy on that case. And these cases are 12 months to 18 months on average, sometimes longer. And so oftentimes there's a huge turnover with the professional child welfare team. However, our CASA volunteer is that one consistent adult in that child's life. So we find that we've built a great relationship rapport with that child, and we become very much the expert on that child. And then we can relay that to the court and the judge, so the judge can make the most up-to-date informed decision for that child.
Okay. So, as the advocate, are they trying to find out how the child feels about a situation so that they can present that to the court? Or are they trying to figure out what's going to be best for this child? What's their involvement, I guess?
They really spend time interviewing, observing, definitely getting feedback from the child about what they want. Now that sometimes isn't what we recommend. We really pride ourselves on being very objective and presenting an unbiased, fact-based report to the judge. So what we focus on is what in our terms would be in the best interest of that child, as far as permanency and placement for that child. That might be back with a biological parent or in an adoptive or a kinship placement. It all varies. It is a long process, so we're in it for the long haul. And like I said, we become that expert and get to know all the details. And if we see there is something needed for that child, whether it's education, therapy, medical concerns, we bring that up as much as possible. We don't want anything to fall through the gaps, through the cracks, because we have seen that on cases that children have been moved to several homes, and in our efforts to learn more about that child, we've uncovered that there's a medical condition that the child's not getting seen for or medication for. We've also uncovered educational deficits that maybe aren't being addressed adequately. Those types of things. We really want to be a supportive partner to the Department of Children's Services. We know they're extremely overburdened, and that's why CASA is such an important program in our community.
Okay. So, who is a good candidate to become a CASA?
So, a CASA can come from any walk of life. They just have to be at least 21 years old,
okay,
and be willing to submit to a background check, because of course you're going to be working with children, so we want to make sure you're good to be working with children. But really it's for anyone that has an interest in helping the children in our community that are really the most vulnerable. But you don't need any special background. We provide over 30 hours of classroom training to get you prepared to start being a CASA, but that doesn't end there. We have staff that support you every step of the way, because that's what we want to make sure people understand, that once you're trained, we're not just letting you off, unsupported. We make sure that someone's there to help you every step of the way. And it's really a wonderful opportunity if you have the time. We have many retirees, and it's really ideal for retirees that have the time and, like I said, a heart for children.
Okay. So just to reiterate, this is a volunteer position that somebody
Correct.
is taking on.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So if someone doesn't have the time to volunteer, what are other ways that they can support your organization?
Sure. Well, as a nonprofit, we always greatly appreciate financial support. We also would love people to just talk about what we do in your community, because we want to raise awareness about what a CASA is and the impact it has right here in our community. If you can share with your family, your church family, your neighborhood friends, your network, that would be great. And they can always contact us if they have more questions. We just need help right now in Hamlin County. We actually have a wait list of children that we need to help, and it breaks our heart. We want to make sure we have a CASA for every child that needs one.
How many people do you think you have right now as far as volunteers?
Volunteers, we have over 50 volunteers spread out around amongst our 4 counties. And in Hamlin, I'd say we're about 20 to 22 active volunteers. But because we only allow them to take 1 to 2 cases, they're tied up for a long time. So that's why it's quickly become, to the point where we have to wait list for the children that need a CASA. So we're always looking to add more volunteers to our list.
And I know it's heartbreaking for me to think that we have that many kids in our area. Mm-hmm. that are having to go through something through this court system that they have to have an advocate.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And I can tell you that Lakeway CASA is a very special thing to me. For the past 2 years, I don't have the time to donate, but I have sponsored their gala that they have every year as a fundraising event. So I have been their event sponsor the past 2 years to try and help on that aspect of things. What questions do you have, Kim?
Well, same thing. I wasn't familiar with it at all until I came to the gala with Amy. Was that last month?
February.
Yes, last month. And there was a girl there that spoke, had been in the program. And if you could just hear her story, I mean, it's something that we all need to try and help in any way that we can.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was a definitely heartwarming story. And we are very blessed to live in a community where we have generous business owners like Amy who will sponsor our events, but it just takes everything's costing more money. We are a nonprofit, so that financial donation is a huge help in us being able to recruit more volunteers so that we can serve more children.
All right. So the biggest thing, the takeaway from this, is that you need to go out, those of you who are watching, and talk to everyone that's in your sphere of influence. And like she said, she would be happy, or someone from the organization, to come out to your church group and talk to you. We were kind of talking before we went live about, who are good people to become CASAs for these kids. And, 50 to 60-year-olds that love children, like she said, are going to be a great fit. And I know, you've got a lot of people who are retired, and when they quit working, they feel like their life has no purpose. They feel like they're just kind of lost. So this is a great way for them to get involved and still be productive in their community.
Sure. This is a very meaningful volunteer opportunity. It's probably one of the most rewarding experiences. I'm going to be honest, it is challenging.
I'm sure.
And that's why it's so hard for us to get volunteers. That it is quite a commitment. We ask that our CASAs commit to staying on the case through the duration of it, because the last thing we want to do is let that child down. Right. They've had enough of that in their life, and we don't want to add to that trauma. So we take it very seriously, and we ask our CASA volunteers to take it seriously. If anybody has questions, of other ways they can help. We are creative and we are open to new ideas. We just want to raise awareness in our community about how important the work of our CASA volunteers is, and it's making a lasting impact on the children that most need it in our community.
Definitely. So how long has the longest person, what's the longest amount of time you've had someone who has served as an advocate?
We have a woman that's in Jefferson, Dandridge, and she's been a CASA volunteer for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
She's on her last case, but it's entering its 4th year. So.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's extremely, it's a complicated case, and so she's sticking with it. But yeah, that's the longest. Typically, our volunteers last like 2 to 3 years because of life events and so forth. So that's why we're always looking to recruit and add new volunteers.
I gotcha. All right. Anything else that you want to add in here?
I just want to thank you for this opportunity and also for being such a great supporter of Lakeway CASA.
You're very welcome.
And like I said, it's community partners like you that keep us going, and we are very grateful.
Well,
So
you're
thank
very
you.
welcome. Kim, do you want to ask her our standard question for guests?
Well, let's see. Okay, so if you could tell your 20-year-old self, go back today, what you know today, tell your 20-year-old self something, what would that be? And it could be personal or business.
Okay, 20. That's a long time.
For some
I'm trying to
others, yeah.
remember where I was when I was 20. I would say I would take more chances. I would travel more. Take those opportunities that maybe were intimidating, that pushed me out of my comfort zone, and do those things versus being nervous and holding back because of
I think we hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I know, I was just going to say, it's amazing that answer keeps coming up. It's
So
like,
for you 20-year-olds out there, listen,
Yeah.
do it.
do it.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Don't let
Yeah.
fear hold you back. Just do it.
Yeah,
Kind of like Nike says.
Exactly, just do it.
Just do
And
it.
travel.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
You're welcome to sit there if you want to get bored while we talk about real
Okay.
estate and mortgages,
Yeah.
or if you've got somewhere to go, you
Okay.
can head out. It's
All
up
right.
to you. But
All right.
all right, Kim, where are mortgage rates today?
They're up a little bit from what they were last week, but they're still better than they were 2 weeks ago. So fingers crossed. I think the Fed was
They meet today.
today. Okay, I was going to say I knew it was today, or I thought it was today. So.
Yeah, and so they thought it was going to be like a quarter raise, and now they're thinking it may be more like a half point raise.
And last week they were saying 0 because of some of the bank issues, but
Right.
Mhm.
So we just don't know.
never
Like,
know.
the whole time, like I did mortgages for so long, and you've been doing this for how many years? How often did you ever talk about the Fed's meeting?
Well, if the Fed met and raised their rates, normally mortgage rates came down. And this year's been
Right.
totally the opposite. Well, this has not happened this year.
But I mean, we just never talked about it.
No.
Like the Fed had their little meeting, and nobody cared. You know what I'm saying? Like it just didn't impact us, and now it's like every month we're waiting on, okay, what are they going to do now? It's just crazy to me. But
It's a lot crazy.
as far as real estate goes, we have had 10 new houses go on the market here in Hamlin County in the past 7 days. 4 of those are already under contract. And so far, month to date, we've had 26 closings. The average sales price is running about $280,000.
Awesome.
So, how's your mortgage applications going?
Definitely picked up.
Picked
Last
up.
week and this week we've taken several full applications with contracts. So
That's always positive.
it's a very good thing.
Well, I can tell you the multiple offer situation isn't back in full force like it was like in 2021, but we are seeing more of it. And the weird thing was, I have a house in Greene County that I had listed. It's been on the market probably 45 days, okay? Nothing. Like, had a bunch of showings, but no activity on it whatsoever. I got 2 offers on it Monday. Just out of the blue, got 2 offers on it. I've got another house that had went under contract. It fell apart, and we got 2 offers on it yesterday. And it's been on the market for a little while. So, and then I listed a lake house over on Douglas Lake on Friday, and we were in a multiple offer situation on it. Got it under contract for $25,000 more than what it was listed at. So, it's not quite like a huge bidding war. Lake properties are always a little bit different than homes in town, but we are seeing, several offers coming in now. So if you're thinking about selling, but you thought that the interest rates being high was going to hurt your chances of getting it sold, I don't think that's going to be the case this year. So I can refer you to a great loan officer who can help you get started buying your new home, and I would love to help you sell the home that you're in now. All right, so come back next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. I'm Amy Schrader with Remax Real Estate 10.
I'm Kim Swan with Union Home Mortgage.